Yeah. I hope y'all not tired of seeing this shit, because we ain't tired of talking to y'all.
No, we just got started for real. And it's been getting really good.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't watched the last 3 episodes, make sure you do that, because they're good.
They are good. Okay. So what are we talking about today?
So today we're gonna talk about being teenage and young mothers. What a fun topic, because we've had moms here on the show, and they've been adult moms.
Every single one. And they're like married and a baby.
Married with child. Mm-hmm. Or, one kid is already out of the room, but the other two are like, still baking. Mm-hmm. So this is different, because we ain't have that experience. I was just sitting there like, oh, this is new. This is different. Okay.
It's a whole different experience.
It's very much a different experience.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not
what we had, like, in the slightest. Close. Yeah. It's so funny.
It's kind of funny, because it's like, wow, like, just like I was saying, like, and I always say, like, moms in 2024, like, and I don't know why that just, like, it just means something, like, to me, because I'm like, if you was a mom back in, like, 2010, 2011, 2012, like we were, it's like everything is just so different. And then even just in motherhood, how so much has changed in the last 12 years, 10 years. Like, all the new, like, they were talking about apps.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a phone. Like, I had an iPhone at some point. I got an iPhone.
Yeah.
But
I didn't have one as soon as I had him.
It wasn't.
I had my little incognito. Yeah, like with the flip up screen. It was kind of like the
Razor.
Kind of like that, yeah. It was not like that.
I had that in high school, but then I had got like one that was like, it was like this, but it had the buttons.
Yeah.
So I was taking pictures on one of those.
Yeah. I have his first ever pictures on that. And so, like, I'll go back to my Instagram and see them, but, like, I can't really access them because, like, I still have the SIM cards, and, like, that phone was so daggone old. I don't even know that I want to pull those pictures.
Yeah, I had a camera, so I used it. Yeah, and I would put all the pictures on my. I have all of the flash drive.
Things moms today literally don't have to worry about.
And it's crazy, because I was just like, man, like I didn't even
Do you remember too, like, for your registry, you had to go in the store and they'd give you like the little scan thing, and you would just go and scan what you wanted to put on the registry?
I remember doing a registry.
Really?
Yeah,
okay,
like,
I
that's
did.
The crazy part. Like,
they used to hand you one of those handheld scanners, and you would just go around the store and scan what you want, and they would add it to your registry. That sounds so old.
It does, because I don't even think nowadays. I don't even think you actually have to go in the store. You can just do it all.
You can literally create it online and just add stuff, and then you can create
send it
literally different lists and put it into one, and so you can send that one link to everybody. And it can be like Amazon, Target, Babies R Us even still exists. I think they went into bankruptcy. I don't know.
I don't even know.
But you can literally put all the lists into one list, and so people can just go and just buy whatever they want.
Yeah, I think Sarah actually said that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I'm sitting here like, man, like, all the stuff that's just like different now than it was. Like, that's why I tell all my friends, I'd be like, they'd be like, oh, you should have another baby. I'd be like, I don't even know how to be a mom.
Yeah.
In 2024.
There are certain things I don't remember. Like, one of my friends had recently had a baby, and she was like, when did you start giving him, like, table food?
When the doctor
is about to be 12. I'm like, there are certain things I just really, like, do not remember, whether it was 6 months. And then the requirements then are different from now. So I'm like, I don't even know that I should be giving you advice on something like that.
That's exactly what I be saying. I said, look, do not ask me, because I don't know. Like, now they be like, oh, yeah, it's cool. You can give your baby, regular food in like 4 months. I be saying, they be like, is that normal? Like, that's what they be doing?
They be mixing the two.
Eating chicken, giving the kids chicken, and they're like still this big. And I'm just like, wow, like,
everything.
We would have never, like, my parents' mom would have never, like, should have been, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh.
I think the most like hard food was like, when they did the little cereal and they still put it in the milk, like. People don't do that no more.
No, I think some moms still do that.
Do they?
Yeah.
I have never in my life heard anybody.
One of my friends has like a 6-month-old, and she puts cereal in his milk before he goes to sleep. But I think she said it didn't help too much because he still be hungry. So I'm like, maybe they'll make the cereal the same no more. I don't know. Yeah.
That's weird.
And I'm pretty sure she got that from like her mom or grandmother. I don't even know if the doctor is saying that yet because they were definitely
never said that.
Yeah.
Because I even because I was just like, y'all know that I'm pretty sure that's not all the way safe, you know. And my grandma was like, no, that's the way to get them to go to sleep. And I was like, but really,
who told you that?
Right? Because the doctor ain't never said. And Sophia still was up.
Yeah,
that child never slept.
Listen, I thank God I had an amazing baby.
She's great.
He slept so good. Like when I say he was so chill, he slept so good. I had an amazing, and that's why I feel like I don't want to play with God again, because I feel like I'm not gonna get that again. Like I feel like he gave me, he was a good baby, he's a good child. I'm just like, you might not give me another one of those. That second one might be unhinged. What am I supposed to do with that? I don't know.
That's what a lot of people say though. They say the second one is like the one, but I don't know. Like I just be like, okay, God. So I know what I prayed for before, and I'm going to pray for all that too, but I'm also going to pray for her because some things that she does, like not sleeping, I just can't
do that again.
Like, I can't. I need you to sleep. Like I was literally like, for like the first 2 straight years of her life, was riding on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah. See, but you won't have that problem again because you'll be in a co-parenting situation, and more than co-parenting to be your man. So like it'll be very like, if that baby is not sleeping, it's his turn to be sleep deprived. You served your time.
Like, so, honey,
it'll be
have to do this.
Yeah, it'll
this
still
be your day.
Different.
At least maybe we can swap nights or something.
Yeah,
not sleeping is not fun,
girl.
Especially when you like.
At this age,
you start you start out being a person that ain't got to worry about. You just wake up when you want to wake up, and then one day somebody is hollering at the top of their lungs, and you just like,
that's why I have a puppy. I'm so serious because I be having to be on the schedule for certain things now, and I'm just like, if I had to just like straight up baby this again, like I don't know where my mental health would be. But like I feel like it's somewhat subtle with her. Yeah, so I'm just like, because she is a puppy and she'll be like screaming like, I need to go outside. Come get me. Yeah.
Well, that's good. A good little stepping stone.
I guess, girl. I don't plan on having no more kids no time soon, but just a little reminder, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so question. Answer. How is it different for you being a mom at a younger age? Or what do you think is different?
Different as far as
parenting.
Oh.
Like, so we've been parenting for a while, but we were also very, very young. So what do you think, or how do you feel is different than parenting, like if we became parents at this age?
Oh my gosh, I'd be straight for real. I mean, worry about my mental health a little bit, but I feel like everything else would be like easy peasy. Yeah. I feel like my main concern would be Demarius. I would want to make sure that like, not that I'm splitting my love equally, but like being the oldest, I know how it feels to like, I was never very like jealous of my sister because it was just like, I knew she was we're 9 years apart. So like I knew she was a baby. I knew she needed more attention from mom. Like I know with some siblings that's a thing, but for me that wasn't it. But because he is an only child and because he's older, I would just want to be sure that he doesn't feel that way because like, no, like I still love you. Like you still my baby and my firstborn. But I feel like I would definitely be concerned just a little bit that like, and not even concerned. I'd be more like intrigued to make sure that I'm like making time for him and like making sure that we still have our time the way that we used to, and like that his life isn't being so interrupted that he's just like, what is going on? So I feel like that would be.
I thought about that too.
Yeah, that would be different.
Yeah, because I feel like you really put, and I think being a parent back then, like you really kind of had not much else going on. So that like all of our attention was really just on the kids. Yeah. So thinking about now, if there's another, and just like being a parent at this age, like I think about like my patience too. Ooh. Like whether I'm gonna have the same level of patience like at this age that I would back then. Like if it's more or if it's less, like you know how now I feel like we have a good, we have a patience for our kids because we've grown up with them and we've learned them, they've learned us, and now we got an understanding. Yeah. But now I feel like, as you get older, sometimes your patience gets thinner.
For sure.
So it's like, is this new kid gonna have the same level of patience that one did? Like, would I still be just as, like, oh, we're growing up together? Because now I'm grown, so I really that's not an excuse. Yeah,
but no, that's a real thing, especially because we have so much going on in our lives now. Like you said before, it was like, okay,
I ain't got nothing else but you. Well, I don't even want to say I didn't have anything else but her. She was really just the focus. Like I did everything around her. Yeah. So like now it's just like I've learned that I can still be me. I can still have my own thing, and you're not like the sole focus. Yeah. Like I'm part of the focus too. For sure. So, I'm like, okay, now I got another little regret. Like how do I? Yeah. How do I manage?
Oh yeah, no, that's a good point. Literally everything would be different though. Time management, patience, like you said, like making sure you have time for that first kid and time for the second kid and then time for your relationship and then time for your job, time for your business, time for yourself, like time with your friends, like
the struggle. Like, and I already be struggling. Like,
girl,
somebody else be struggling like that because I just feel like, there's a lot of videos that are like, oh, just trying to maintain my mental health while going to work, while doing this, while doing dishes, and keep
trying to work out,
trying to work out, trying to, and I'm just like, are we all really just out here struggling and we just making it look good, or does anybody have the recipe? Because I need it.
I feel like the recipe is not to have like. I hate to say not to have a main focus, but not to have a main focus because I feel like when I would let my job be my focus,
everything else is in shambles.
So it's like, see work as work, see home as home, see social life as social. So I would have to like separate the categories and be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like now is your time to socialize. Just do that. Now, like even yesterday, like I was going to my mom's house and I know that I'm going to be sitting there for a minute. And I left the house and I was like, oh my God, I forgot my laptop. And the man was like, take a break, Mom. Like, you've been working all day. I said, you got a point. I said, okay. I was like, but like, I can still get like a little bit. And I was like, no, like, he's right. Like, take that time to just sit with them. Like, if nobody's doing anything, that's fine. Yeah. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you trying to like, well, I can get some work done right now. No.
That's my problem. I usually have that problem. Because I don't like idle time. I like to be like, I have 1,017 things on my to-do list. Why the heck are you just sitting here?
Friend, I had to really sit down a few months ago. I took a week off of work and girl, I could not sit down. Like, I was just like, something needs to be done. Everything needs to be done. And I was just like, this is bad. Like, I don't want to be forced into, like, shutting down. Like, I don't want my body to be like, you don't want to sit down? Heard you. Okay, got you. Yeah. Shut down.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Part of that is being a single mom too. Like, for sure. I don't think. I think that growing up into literally from like a teenager into motherhood, whereas like we were kind of forced into being a parent or being an adult, and also saying like you kind of have to do it all. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think it's almost like embedded where it's like we just feel like, oh, we gotta be doing something because when we're not doing anything, you're not being productive or you're not being what you're supposed to be. Yeah. Which is so bad. That it is. And which is why like I feel like, there's a difference for people when they do have a partner, within that whole situation because they're already in the beginning not being forced to do it all. Yeah, that is very true. We were growing up thinking like,
I have to do everything.
Oh, I got to do everything by myself. Yeah. Like this is normal. If I don't do it, it's not gonna get done.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't get done, it's gonna pile up. And then next week I'm gonna be looking like I really ain't got my ish together because all the clothes are dirty.
Yeah.
I ain't got none. No drawers, nothing. And it's just, who gonna wash them?
Right. Now I got to.
Now I actually have to. And then you're like, the to-do list kind of just piles up. And then you're feeling like overwhelmed. Like very overwhelmed. Yeah,
I took that first week off, drove myself crazy. I took another week off.
Did you?
And I said, you're going to sit down.
Yeah.
And I went away.
Back? No.
About a month apart, which flew by.
Yeah.
But I went away for a few days.
That's
it was like forcing myself, like, read a book if you want something to do, girl. A book that you enjoy.
Yeah.
But I really just, and it drove me crazy still a little bit. But I was more intentional about it. And I was like, see this as a good thing. Don't see this as like oh my gosh, I gotta force myself and I gotta, and I mean, all the things coming to your mind, write them down. Like, put them down and then, like, speak life into the things that, like, you're trying to turn negative, so to speak. Like, oh, well, you're not being productive, so, like, you're lazy. No. You're taking a break. Yeah, I'm resting. I make sure that my mind is right. My body's okay.
This is of God.
Yes.
To rest.
Hello?
That's what God said.
Ain't that what he did?
He did.
He said, and
I done worked all these days, and now I'm gonna sit down.
Exactly.
And I feel like I need to start doing that.
Yeah.
Like, actually saying, like, I literally work all the time.
Yeah.
Like with working and then having a business, like you're working all the time,
all day.
And then when you put mother on top of that and running a house, you're working all the time.
All the time.
So, like, when you sit down and say, like, no, I'm gonna rest, that's okay. And it's like you have to, like, make yourself okay with it first before you can even, like, convince other people that it's okay. Because sometimes I feel like you got to convince people.
Yeah.
They feel like you need to be super mom, superhuman all the time.
But I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. And I don't care how y'all feel about a lot of stuff. Because one thing you're not going to make me do is feel bad about my decision and my choice.
I'm still working on that.
That's okay.
I really am. It's hard for me.
I just feel like it's all about the intention behind what people are saying. And a lot of times people say things projecting from their own standpoint. And you're not going to do that with me. I don't allow that in anything.
Yeah.
In any part of my life. Because if it's not confirmation of what God has said to me, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Respectfully or disrespectfully. I don't really care. I don't want to hear it. Because, and if you're saying something that may come off in a way where you're like, I don't know how she's going to take this. I am also God's child as you are God's child. And you can say, God, this is your child. Right. How do I approach so-and-so to say 1, 2, 3? Because I feel like you're telling me to say this. Not because it's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like we all have opinions. Yeah. But I don't get to just be like, I love your hair in a bun and you should wear your hair in a bun like Monday through Friday. You'd be like, and if that's not what I want to do, and you're not going to be like, but you know what Jaida said? No. Yeah. That is your hair.
And which is crazy because I literally am struggling with that like right now.
Yeah.
Like very much so struggle.
Yeah.
Like about my, motherhood, personal life, all that stuff. And it's hard.
Mm-hmm. I don't allow people's opinions for a lot of my life, Shanice. I literally don't allow it.
And you know what? I need some of that. Just give me some.
I'm going to pass you some. I'm going to scoop it up a little bit.
Right, just give me a couple scoops.
And I'm going to just hand it over to you.
It's difficult for me. And I really don't know why. And I think part of it is like, I'm very critical of myself, very hard on myself. So like, being a young mom was like never part of the plan, right? Nobody wanted that for their, kid or whatever. But, ever since then, I'm just like, I got to do it right. And when I don't do it right, it's just like, Shanice, you didn't do it right.
Yeah.
And then, for me, when I talk about, what I'm doing or like just even share what's going on with, family or whatever, they are very opinionated people. Very opinionated and judgy. And so like, I'm like afraid of what they're going to say. Or like, I try to prevent myself from hearing it so I can protect my own peace and my own self. But like, it's still always in the back of my mind. Like, I don't want to say nothing yet. I'm not ready. Because like, just like I said, like, the last time, like, they were not okay with,
and see, sometimes you got to stop talking to people.
Yeah.
Cause I guess sometimes, we're just making conversations, we're just asking things. But sometimes you got to stop talking to people because especially when I already know the places you're going to come from, and I don't receive that, there really is. We can spin this conversation to be said in a way where it's just like, I'm kind of just letting you know, we're kind of just talking without asking for your opinion, because I don't receive that. Yeah. It things can be said that way, or sometimes they just don't need to be said at all, because you're gonna have a million opinions about what I do and how I do it and what's going on, and it's just that it's none of my business. Honestly, I always have that in the forefront of my mind, though. Like, your opinion of me literally does not matter to me. Yeah. Like, that has nothing to do with me. That is literally not my business, and I like to be in my own business. I don't like to be in nobody else's business.
Right, that part.
And I feel like everybody, some people mean well. Everybody is not coming from a place of ill intent. But like you said, protecting your peace, and I understand trying not to hear it, so that way it's not like in the back of your mind, because it will be. But sometimes you can say, and what's your intent behind that? Because if your intent isn't to help me, or if your intent isn't to be good, your intent is to just like say your opinion, I don't want to hear it.
I actually didn't ask for it. To
be
really honest with you.
And I feel like a lot of times I've had so many issues with people and relationships and friendships, because I feel like people always want to put their opinions on something. And I just do not care. And maybe I should a little bit, but I don't. Like, not in the slightest, but I do not care. And I feel like a lot of times, especially as women, we overthink so much that then when somebody else, especially another woman, comes to us and helps us overthink more, I'm mad now. Now I'm mad. Because you already know mentally what I'm probably going through, and you're tormenting me. Did that come from a place of God? Right. Did God tell you to say that? Right. Did he tell you to say it like that? Right. Did you even go to him about it? Right. Or did you say the first thing that came to your mind?
Questions, like actual questions.
No, I have such a huge issue with that.
And I never really thought about it like that,
to
be honest with you. And I mean, I know for a fact that, I'm like, okay, I know God wouldn't have did this. Like, I just know. But then, like, sometimes, and I think, for me, when it's like somebody that you actually like look up to or respect on a level, like, I mean, I'm not asking for approvals all the time, but, you think like, dang, like, am I doing this right? Yeah. Like, it makes you question yourself when their opinion is opposite of what you're thinking, what you feel. Yeah. And especially even when it comes to like motherhood and like, so how do I do this? And like, when you ask, their opinion and it's not what you thought, you're just like,
well, now I'm questioning
everything. I do this right? Like, am I tripping? Am I a good mom? Like, did I make a mistake? Like, am I screwing my kid up for real? Like, but I think you do. And I think for me, like, I know I have to come to a level of, you are doing a great job. Yes. Like, it's like you got to talk to yourself and tell yourself, like, no, you're doing okay. Like, you be confident in, being a mother, that the mother that you are, or the mother that you want to be, and like striving towards that, because opinions will have you on your freaking toes all the time. Not you, but just generally. Jaida don't care. Y'all.
I don't care.
This is why we work well with the difference in opinions, because, honey, I am the most sensitive, caring. I care about everybody's opinion.
No, I like very opinions, sensitive, but like, too. But that's I'm probably why. Yeah, I'm very the way that I am, because I'm so sensitive. You block it all off. Yeah, because it's easy for me to kind of like grab on and hold on to that, which I feel like was a lot of me when I was younger, which is why me now, it's just like, I don't care. Because that used to be me, where I used to care about everything. If you said something different from what I was thinking, like you said, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not doing this right, and I need to, and I got tired of that back and forth. It's draining. And I had to really ask God to help me, because I'm just like, what is this? But I feel like I also try to be very careful about what I say to people, because I feel like if God didn't say that and it's my own opinion, I don't need to say that to you. There's no point in me doing that. But see, I take everything back to God. Like, if I feel like I want to say something, I'll be like, okay, well, God, if you telling me to say that, like, tell me how to talk to your daughter. Tell me how to say this because this is your child too. Like, tell me how to say it to them in a way that it's confirmation for them, or that they are open to listening. And it's not just, well, I feel like you need to, no, because why are we doing all of that? Like, and I really don't like when people give me their opinions on something just because there's so much that I could say that I don't, and I'm just like, you should appreciate that and you not, and now I'm gonna go off. And so I just feel like I'd be like, but God, you know what? Maybe they're working on how to say something. Right. Maybe their intent was good, but you're just gonna have to work with them. Because I can't receive that. Like, if that's something that if I needed to hear that, give it to me in a way that's gonna help me and not hurt me.
And not,
Because God wouldn't tell some things to hurt us.
You know,
He can tell you things.
Like, I be trying to like understand.
Yeah.
You know, some people are just so churchy, and then you know, I'm not gonna be specific, but you know, there are people that I have to encounter that just feel they're just, you know, holier than thou sometimes, and I'm like, but would he have really said that like that? Like, you just came for me, and I don't like that you did that.
Because God wouldn't. And I really feel like He has choked me up in the sweetest ways.
Right.
Like, God will really like come in and be like,
and it's gentle.
It's so gentle. It's so soft, but it will have you like, ooh.
Yeah.
But nothing about it is
making you feel
harsh or mean or like, convicting to have you like, oh,
saying like, I'm wrong. Like, I'm really not, you know.
He does not talk to us like that. So why would he have you talk to me like that? He wouldn't.
I'm gonna just say some people need to hear that.
Because he wouldn't.
That's a word.
But like you said, I think you shouldn't be so hard on yourself or critical of yourself or judge yourself, because that will come out in other relationships too and with other people. I feel like when I come across judgy people, my first thought is, well, you're probably judging yourself really, really hard. Like, I'm not the type to be like, you judging me. I don't care. I'll just be like, ooh, like mentally, like there's probably a lot going on in your head, and like you didn't even really mean to say that to me like that. So like, I'm gonna pray for you, because you probably go home and question every little thing you say, do, eat, don't eat, read, don't read, teach, don't, and I'm just like, and I don't want that for you. I want you to be in a place mentally where you can accept people and bring people in. But that starts with you. Like, you have to be able to do that for yourself and stand on you being you.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like we talked about some differences, some challenges. We know the whole thing is challenging. But I want to ask you, what was the best part about being a mom at a young age for you?
I think I would say the best part has probably been like being able to be a kid, like, and not be like weird about it. Because you know, we get to do things that like I would have wanted to do as a kid, but like experience it with her and like watch her experience it. Yeah. So kind of like traveling or going to, you know, the jumpy place or, you know, skating, like, you know, being able to do like kid stuff with my kid and being still young enough to do it. Yeah. You know, without it being like, ooh, I'm tired, or like, you know, all that stuff. Kind of just like watching her like have fun and experience new things. But also me experiencing those same things like with her, I think has been like the most fun part for me. Because, you know, like I got 3, 4, 5 siblings, so it's a whole lot of us. So we, you know, my parents didn't get to do family trips, and they didn't do a whole lot. Like, they would do stuff like every once in a while, but like, you know, with it just being one kid, you know, we could do a whole lot on the move. Like, and we've always just like kind of found like fun stuff to do. Like, oh, we going to the drive-in movie theater, like we going out of town, and it's easier, but it's always fun because we're experiencing those things together. Some things like we, you know, experienced for the first time together, and that'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be having fun.
I agree. I feel like I love that I can we can go to the jump parks and we can do stuff, because girl, I feel like if I tried to do that, like when my mom had me, she was still young, but like thinking about her now, like, and how some people are just having babies, I'm like, I wouldn't be jumping nowhere doing none of that. Like, not a chance. But I feel like the best part for me was the fact that my grandmother and Damaris got to have a relationship. And she's no longer here. So all I can think about is like, had I not had him, they never would have met each other. You know, had I did things outside of God's will, had I not done things the way that they were supposed to happen, they never would have met. And she would tell him all the time, like, I'd be so bored without you. Like, I don't know what I would do if you wasn't here. So they were so like, me and her were locked in, but like they were like locked in. And
that's really special.
Yes, because I mean, I had no idea.
So that was her first.
Yeah, her first great grand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, something about that. That's like, because Sophia's my grandma's first great grand too. And it's like a really special thing to kind of see like how they interact, how different it is from like your interaction. Literally. But like there's still that grandma that like and like you grew up with, and it's just like it's a special thing.
Yeah, I'm really, really grateful for that, because again, I had no idea that by now she would be gone. And like, again, had I been like, well, no, you know, like I'm gonna do things, like I said, outside of God's will, because I'm never trying to promote pregnancy, teen pregnancy, young pregnancy. And I think when you say a positive thing about it, people are like, you're trying to say, and this is like, no, this was made for my life. This is what was supposed to happen for me. And had I not done things that way, had I not been a mom at 15, had I been like, no, I'm going to wait till I'm 35, married, kids, husband, the whole nine, then it would have been, they never would have met, and there would have been something that was missing, you know? So everything happened the way God had it intended to. And that is probably like my like best memory, is like always watching them together and like seeing them so close and knowing that they had a relationship. You know, definitely was hard when she passed, because, you know, it's the first time I had to explain that sort of thing to him. But that's probably the best part for me, was just being like, oh my gosh, she really got to experience my grandma like I experienced my grandma too. So
yeah, that's always nice to be cute.
Girl, I had a picture of my grandmother and me when I was a baby on my dresser years ago. Jermaine was like 4 or 5 years old. And he comes to my room, he's like, Mama, is that you? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, but you were so little, how are you so big now? I said, that's how I feel about you. like you were so little, now you so, I'm like, people grow. Like, okay, I have a question. What experiences do you feel like shaped you or shaped your motherhood as far as you being a mom?
Like during motherhood or like before motherhood?
During motherhood.
What experience shaped me?
Or you know what? No, let's say before. Yeah, let's say before.
So what experience have shaped me in motherhood? But things that have happened before. Like, I want to say maybe like, you know, childhood experiences, probably the most, because, you know, I feel like, you know, as a child, you remember very distinct things, right? Like, you ain't gonna remember everything. Like, I don't remember being 4. I don't remember being 7. You know, but I remember certain ages and I remember certain things. Like, I remember, you know, very particular relationships with like my parents, me growing up, and like how those relationships have like, you know, evolved and shaped over the years. And I feel like that in itself kind of made me look at how I, you know, treat my relationship with, you know, my daughter, so that she doesn't, you know, have certain outcomes that I did. You know, which is why like I made certain decisions for her to like go, you know, be with her dad for some time, so that she can build that relationship, because some of those relationships are not what I have. And I felt like if I did have them, you know, outcomes would have been a little different, or like life would have looked a little bit different. Because I feel like the relationship you have with your parents can be very positive or it can be very negative. Sure. And like, I think having a positive relationship with your parents allows you to know how to have relationships with pretty much almost anybody else.
That is very true. It shapes a lot of our lives.
Yeah, and if you have negative experiences, you really don't understand and don't know how to deal with certain situations with other people. And which is why I be struggling sometimes today, because I'm like, I never really even encountered that. So how do I deal with it now, even as an adult, to make it, you know, make sense to me when maybe that person actually did grow up with positive relationships, or like they had an experience that I didn't have. And so they know how to do it. But I'm over here like, I didn't know that. Like, my bad. Like, that wasn't my experience. And so I'm like learning as I go, but trying to, make her experience different so that she doesn't have to do that whole learning as you go type of thing. Yeah. Like, she's just trying to figure it out. She kind of at least have a baseline. Like, she's like, oh, okay, well, I know that, because my mom and my dad are like, my mom, my stepdad, or my mom, my dad, my stepmom, like, because their relationships were like this, or like they did this in those relationships. Yeah. I know how to go, and have a friendship, or have, like an actual romantic relationship without bumping her head so many times. Because, man, I feel like,
that's good.
That was an experience, or like, even watching my parents' relationship, like them as a couple, was, difficult, and trying to figure out like how to, find a good partner.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I feel like, our childhood shapes us as adults, as employees, as parents, as friends. Like, so much of who we are comes from how we grew up. And I feel like we love to be like, well, if I had this, or if I didn't have this, then this would have went differently. And it is easy to say that, but I believe that rejection is God's protection and everything. And while things didn't always go the way we wanted them to go in our childhood, I know that God protected us from a lot that we just probably will never realize, because it's like, well, if I would have had a close relationship with my dad, then I wouldn't be doing this. But like, we don't know what your daddy was fighting. We don't know what kind of demons he was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I always just try to be like, well, God, thank you for protecting me from whatever I didn't see, or whatever you knew that I didn't know. And for allowing me to use that as good fuel for my child, allowing, me to not be like, well, I'm going to be a better parent. I'm going to do things this way, and I'm going to, because hold on, you know what I'm saying? But to use it as a good thing, like, I did go through this, but I would love for my child to experience this. So let me give them that chance. Let me do what I can to make sure that they're experiencing things differently.
Promote it, promote
positively. Yes.
Yes.
Literally.
That was good. Promote positivity, though.
I agree.
I think that was a big, fuel for me, in making that decision for her to go like stay with her dad, because I was just like, who am I to just be like, no, you can't do this. Like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Like, and I also was just like, I really don't want to be that parent that, like, when she's like 30 years old, she's looking back like, you know what, Mom? I hate you.
You should have,
like, you know what I mean? Like,
you didn't
you like allow me to like experience. Like, I felt that was literally like me in my head. Like, I don't want to be that parent. Like, I don't want to screw my kid up to where she's like, I wish you would have allowed me to do something, like, or why didn't you? Or like, what was your problem? You know what I mean? Like, what was it about this that made you really just take that away from me? And I think me saying like, okay, because I didn't have this, like, I really wanted that to be something that you could at least experience, like, something to say like, you go and like figure it out, like, because maybe you might not like it, and you could just,
but I gave you the chance to figure it out.
Come on back. But while you're here, you have the opportunity to learn, to like grow, and experience something that like, you can kind of shape, like y'all two can shape together. And I think it was hard, but it was like, it wasn't for me, it was for her, and I think that's one of those things, just as a mother, like, you tend to have to like put yourself,
back
on the back end, because it's not about you all the time. Like, yes, you do need to make sure it's about you sometimes, but in essence of like making sure that your kid is good and setting them up for success and positivity. You have to make sure that, you take your emotions out of it, because it's not always just about you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think that's one of those things that I've been learning is like, well, I did learn. I had to like learn that, like, take your emotions out of it. And
feelings
like, you'll
are
see,
not facts.
And you'll see it a little bit differently, because, when you say, Because man, I feel like, especially when it comes to like doing it with somebody else, co-parenting, and you're just like, that feeling is there. Like I feel like this, but is this really helping our kid? Like, is this for her or is that for me?
Yeah,
you know. And once you kind of take those feelings, whatever those feelings may be.
I've had to learn that too. Like, I might feel this way, but that does not mean that is a fact. But that is not what is being said.
It's just how you feel, and you know, those feelings aren't always going to make you make the decisions. True. You know, and then if you take that out of it, then you can be like, you know what? Outside of that, what's really the problem? You know, like why, you know, why is there an issue with it?
That's good, especially for us as women to really hear that, like, take your emotions out of it.
And it's difficult. I feel like it takes time too, like to really get to a place where you can do that. But I think once it's like a wall almost. You kind of have to build to say like, I'm going to really like block this out and just focus on the actual facts.
Yeah. That's good.
Girl, and that's difficult. I feel like that's difficult for women to do anything. Like
relationships, jobs, with anything. Navigating just about anything is like, but we were created to be emotional and to have all these feelings. And it's just like, I feel like God gave that to us because men don't have it the way that we do. So we're supposed to bring that aspect to them, but we have to know how to manage it. How to control it and how to be like, okay, like I'm supposed to have all these things. However, how am I using it in a way that is just like positive?
When it's okay. And like, when is it okay to say like, I'm going to pull back a little bit?
Yeah. Well, knowledge is, you know, knowing what to say, but like wisdom is knowing when to say it. So like, I'm always like, okay, God, like give me the knowledge of what to say and then give me the wisdom of knowing when to say it. Because I could be like, oh, I know this, so I need to say this is how I feel. And this, no, hold on. Because are we using
how are we saying it? Yeah.
How are we saying it? When are we saying it? Yeah. Are we saying it at the right time?
Are we just saying it because that's just how we feel?
Right. And it's just on my mind right now.
Because I talk about it. Man, when you start saying stuff how you feel, when you feel it,
you're gonna feel it.
You gonna feel it, honey.
They're gonna feel it too.
Yeah. I feel like that's such a good segue to talking about co-parenting, honey. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That should be the next episode.
That is going to be the next episode.
I really feel like it because
we're gonna talk about co-parenting on your side.
Yeah.
And then we'll get a little dark now.
Not dark.
We will talk about no parenting on my side because I do not co-parent. I do not have the option to co-parent.
Yeah. I'm honestly curious to hear how you feel about that.
Yeah?
I am.
Stay tuned for the next episode.
Right. Ooh, the cliffhanger.
Literally. Yeah. That's gonna be good.
Yeah. That's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
I feel like the tea is gonna be brewing.
The tea is gonna be spilt over. It's gonna be hot. Come ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.